Folks, great to have you back. I'm David Mulligan, and this is the Writers Bloc on Virtual Channel Network. We are continuing our review of The Postman. The Postman was written by Brian Hegeland and Eric Roth. It's a really great script, a lot of good stuff to learn. I want to show you. Page 124. Top of the page, scene 152. I like this. This is good. You know how you have in a story, one of the things that they really love is they love a setup and a payoff. There's always setups and payoffs and stuff like that. You can think of a ton of them in movies. In this movie, he does a nice little setup. We meet Tom Petty without actually saying his name or what he's famous for. And later on, when we go to 124, the BC mayor, Tom Petty, says, "I've heard of you, man. You're famous." And the postman says, "Yeah, I guess I am." And all of a sudden, I'm not wearing the right clothes. And as he puts on his cap, he accepts the mantle as well. I like this for two reasons. One, it's a good payoff, and it gives Tom Petty a nice little joke thing, a good little moment. I thought it worked well in the story too, but that's debatable. You can decide. But I like this last little line. And he puts on his cap and accepts the mantle as well. The mantle, the responsibility, the role. I love that. That's character. That's not nearly an action or a description. It's simply character. It's simply it's character arc, actually. This is the point where we see in his eyes, when we feel in our bones that he is going to do this. So good stuff. Good stuff. 125, bottom of the page. The postman says, "Abby, do you think a lie can become the truth?" And Abby says, "I don't know, but I believe in you. You have a gift, postman. I saw it back in Pineview." Yeah, well, we don't need to read that part. That is enough. Do you think a lie can become truth? That's a great question. It's an open-ended question. This is a question not for Abby. It's for you, the audience. When we talk about value, when we talk about essence and what we feel is true and right, is it always the same? Are principles cut and dry? No. Every situation is different. In a lot of situations, a lie cannot become the truth. Cannot. A lot of them. But in this story, specifically, it does. And that's why he brings up the question. At least that's why I believe he brings up the question. I think it's an important question because the audience has been watching this movie for over 2 hours now. And they do see, what do they see happening? They see that this is a guy that's just trying to survive. And lo and behold, he becomes the leader of a movement. Wow. And he wonders about it because he's a reluctant hero and he's not really, he's not qualified for the job. He's not prepared for the job. So this soul searching here is not for the postman. It's not his soul searching. And it's not for Abby. It's for you. It's for your soul searching. Can a lie become the truth in your life? There might be some instances. But the important part of this is you're the writer. You write the story. You have the truth. You have this question. Your question. And your question doesn't have to be true for everything. It only has to be true for your story from the perspective of the main character. That's all you have to do. And if you get a good question, if you get a good premise, a good theme, a good essence of what truth is, how can they not like your story? As long as you do good spelling and structure. Yeah, of course. But it's a good part of it. So take inventory and see if your script has that sort of soul-searching essence in it, especially late in it when we've seen the main character go through so much. Because what is a movie if the main character does not go through a lot? It's not a great movie. Let's move on. $132. Halfway down the page, the postman says, "I have every right. I invoke Law 7. Bethlehem can't believe his eyes. The postman, "I challenge for leadership of the clan." And action description, the seed of doubt is planted. Is Bethlehem violating one of the laws of 8? Who's doing that? Who's saying that? Everybody who knows who the Law of 8 is. Everybody. The extras. There's a ton of extras there. There's about 100 or 200 guys dressed in rags and stuff like that, and they put dirt on his face and make it look apocalyptic, that sort of thing. They're all there. They're the ones who wonders, is this guy challenging, is the leader violating one of the laws of 8? Very interesting. Now, we were introduced to the 8 laws or 9 laws, whatever it is, the laws of 8. We were introduced that very early in the story. Set up, payoff. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I like the seed of doubt is planted. I like that because that is an event. It's very much of a thought-based event. It's a concept-based event, but it does happen, and it does change the situation a lot, especially when he shows the tattoo, right? Okay, let's move on. Oh, I like this. I don't get to use this often, but when I get a chance to use it, I really, really like it. It just looks good on the page. And I've seen this before, but I want to point it out here with this script. The first line of dialogue on page 134, scene 165, we see the postman. And the postman says, "Neither snow, wham! Nor rain, wham! Nor heat, wham! Nor gloom of night, wham! Will stay this courier from the swift completion of his appointed rounds." I like the parentheticals in between. You could have just said he accentuates his words with his, beating up Bethlehem. But I kind of like it here because it gives a structure, and I really like that. And you can feel it. So when you do dialogue and stuff like that, I do caution you, and really anybody that is experienced in screenwriting will say the same thing. They will caution you and say, please do not use a lot of parentheticals. It can get really annoying. In this case, though, I would make the exception. I wouldn't do it often, but I would make the exception because it communicates something to the reader. It paces the reader better. Okay, so that's about it for The Postman, written by Brian Hegland and Eric Roth. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. My name is David Mulligan, and this is the Writers Bloc for Virtual Channel Network, because if you put words on the page, you're not blocked.